The economic journey of the United States is an extraordinary story of growth, crisis, and recovery. It is not merely the transformation of numbers, the history of the U.S. GDP reflects the significant shifts in politics, technology, and society. GDP, gross domestic product, is not just a measure of the economy's health. It is proof of the resilience and creativity of the American people. From the early days of the nation, when the U.S. was a small agricultural economy, to becoming the world's leading economic superpower today, this journey has been anything but easy, full of challenges, innovations, and historic turning points. At the end of the 18th century, the U.S. economy was primarily based on agriculture and commodity trade. However, the Industrial Revolution in the early 19th century completely transformed the economic landscape. With the advent of steam engines, mechanical power, and particularly the railroad system, the U.S. quickly became a rapidly developing industrial nation. Railroads were not merely a transportation mode, but also bridges connecting economic regions, boosting trade and mass production. During this period, U.S. GDP grew at an extraordinary pace, creating the conditions for the boom in industries like steel, oil, and machinery. The names of capitalists like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller became symbols of America's prosperity. However, no journey is without its challenges. In 1929, the U.S. stock market crashed, leading to the Great Depression. U.S. GDP plummeted by 30%, millions of people lost their jobs, and thousands of businesses went bankrupt. This was a dark period in U.S. economic history, with haunting images of long lines of people waiting for food aid. But from the crisis, America learned how to adapt. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal policies, with large public works projects and financial reforms, helped the U.S. recover. GDP gradually rebounded, and the public's trust in the government was strengthened. World War II marked another pivotal moment, with U.S. GDP growing impressively due to the demand for military weapons and supplies. With comprehensive mobilization, the U.S. not only met domestic needs, but also provided for allies through the Lend-Lease program. During this period, U.S. GDP grew at an average rate of 15% per year, an unprecedented figure. Moreover, the war served as a catalyst for the U.S. to invest heavily in science, technology, and education, laying the groundwork for future development. After the war, the U.S. entered a period of stable growth. American families began enjoying greater wealth with a surge in home buying, automobile purchases, and household goods. The manufacturing sector boomed, and U.S. GDP grew steadily. This period also saw the U.S. invest heavily in infrastructure, with major projects like the interstate highway system. At the same time, space programs such as NASA were established, marking significant advances in technology and science. The 1970s witnessed one of the most difficult periods in U.S. economic history, the oil crisis, when the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, cut oil supplies. Oil prices soared, causing high inflation and slowing economic growth. U.S. GDP growth slowed, and many oil-dependent industries faced severe crises. However, these challenges prompted the U.S. to seek alternative solutions. Investments in clean energy research, from solar to nuclear, began to emerge. This period also marked a growing concern in the U.S. for environmental protection and sustainable economic growth. If there was one period considered a boom in U.S. economic history, it was the 1990s. This was when information technology truly exploded with the rapid development of the internet. Personal computers became an indispensable part of daily life and business operations, increasing labor productivity and reducing production costs. U.S. GDP grew at an average rate of 4% per year during this period, with major contributions from tech companies like Microsoft, IBM, and later the emergence of Google and Amazon. The strong growth came not only from manufacturing but also from new sectors like e-commerce, software, and technology services. The 2008 financial crisis was another turning point in U.S. economic history. The crisis stemmed from the real estate market, where subprime mortgage loans were issued recklessly. When the housing bubble burst, Millions of Americans lost their homes, the banking system nearly collapsed, and GDP fell sharply in a short period. However, the U.S. responded quickly with large bailout packages from the government and the Federal Reserve, Fed. Policies like quantitative easing and near-zero interest rates helped restore confidence in the financial system. In the aftermath of the crisis, the U.S. economy rebounded strongly, with the rise of startups and innovation. Tech giants like Facebook, Tesla, and Uber changed the way Americans lived, worked, and traveled. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, causing a major shock to the global economy. U.S. GDP plummeted the most in Q2 2020, with a drop of 31.4%, an unprecedented figure in modern history. However, thanks to unprecedented stimulus packages from the government and the Fed, the U.S. economy rebounded quickly. Sectors like technology, e-commerce, and healthcare surged, creating new growth drivers. Companies like Amazon and Zoom became symbols of the home-based work and shopping era. The rapid recovery of the U.S. after the pandemic is a testament to its adaptability and relentless innovation. This period also saw the U.S. intensifying investments in future-oriented fields such as renewable energy, artificial intelligence, AI, and semiconductor manufacturing. The history of U.S. GDP growth is not just a story of numbers. It is proof of the power of innovation, adaptability, and an unwavering spirit of progress. Every period of crisis has been accompanied by valuable lessons, from diversifying the economy to leveraging technology for increased productivity. The U.S. has proven that challenges are not merely obstacles but also opportunities to break through. From the Industrial Revolution, financial crises, to the era of high technology, the U.S. has always found ways to turn difficulties into driving forces for reaching new heights. This journey not only shaped America's position as an economic superpower but also left deep lessons for the world. If there is one thing that the history of U.S. GDP growth teaches us, it is that sustainable success does not come from ease, but from the ability to overcome all adversity. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated on more intriguing content in upcoming videos.